Hello, welcome to the ANSYS video tutorials. In this video tutorial, we are going to see three-dimensional heat conduction problem inside ANSYS workbench. We are going to use steady-state thermal analysis system for our analysis. So let's select this steady-state thermal from analysis system and we'll drag it into the project schematic. Now we can see that it will now open. Now we'll select a geometry and we can see we have used analysis tab as 3D analysis. We can also set it as 2D analysis depending upon our requirement. Now you can see the first one, that is engineering data. Now we'll edit the engineering data that is required for analysis. Now you can say you can right click over here and you can edit, select edit option. Now you can go to the engineering data sources and you can see different types of materials like composite materials, magnetic materials, thermal materials. Now I will select the thermal materials. You can click over here and you can see the different thermal materials over here. Now you can select a different materials from this list. You can see air, alnico, aluminum, all these things. So I'll select aluminum. And second material that I am going to select, that is brass. And this you can just exit from this engineering data and then you can select a geometry. Now we will create our geometry inside design modeler. So you can say new design modeler geometry. Now design modeler now will open into the separate window. Now you can see over here that design modeler has now been opened. Now we'll select XY plane. We'll select create a sketch on this plane. We'll go normal to this plane. We'll select a sketching command. We'll select a rectangle option. I will select one edge from the center of this, that is origin, and we'll draw an arbitrary rectangle. We'll select a dimension. We'll add a dimension of vertical edge and horizontal edge, that is equal to 100 mm. So it will be 100 meter, not in mm. So it will be 100 meter by 100 meter, and we'll extrude this by 100 meter. So it will be a cube of 100 meter. So now you can see we can click generate. Now we want to slice this in order to apply different materials for different sections of this cube. So for the slicing purpose, what we can do, we can slice this by using planes. So we'll generate a planes. So you'll say, you can see the icon over here, that is new plane. We'll select a new plane and from reference plane, so you can say from face and you can select this face. Here you can select and you can select this face. You can say apply. Here you can say transform, that is offset Z. We'll apply this distance, that is equal to 30, and so it is opposite. We want it in opposite direction, so you can say minus 30. Or you can set it as minus 35. Let's say minus 35, and we'll say generate. Again we'll generate another plane from the plane 4, okay, and transform in Z direction. Again it will be minus 30, and we'll say generate. Again we'll select a new plane from the plane 5, apply, transform, that is offset Z, and this will be again minus 30. Actually there is no need of this plane. This plane will coincide with, okay, we'll select minus 35. This plane will coincide with this face, so actually there is no need. So we'll just create this plane first of all and then we'll delete. Okay, now you can see there are two planes, that is plane 4 and plane 5. We'll use these planes for the creating slice operation. We can go to the create and we can select a slice. We can select a slice by plane and then we can select a plane. We can select a different planes over here. Suppose I select a plane 4 and then we'll say apply, and then it will generate. Okay, then again we'll select a create and then slice operation, and here the plane will select a plane 5, we'll say, and we'll say generate. So you can see we have sliced this material into 3 parts. Now we want to slice this vertical wall, this middle wall, into 3 equal parts. For that purpose, we can draw a sketch and then we'll apply extrude operation, and inside extrude we'll select slice operation. Okay. Now you can see over here I have created this sketch for the extrusion, and this sketch consists of only 3 lines, 2 lines basically, and I have operated the extrude operation, and inside extrude I have selected slice material option. So it will slice the material of this middle wall, and we can see inside our 5 bodies. You can see that is first body is this leftward, second one that is bottom, third one is rightwards, and fifth one is middle, fourth one is middle, and the fifth one, this is top body. So in this way we have created a geometry inside ANSYS design modeler. Now we will use this geometry for our analysis. So you can say close design modeler. Now we will again come back to this ANSYS workbench project schematic, and you can see the blue tick mark over here. You can say model, you can right click over here and you can edit. Now ANSYS mechanical now will open into the separate window. Now you can see that ANSYS mechanical now has been open, and you can see our geometry has been placed over here. You can see the geometry, and you can create a plus sign over here, and you can see the 5 different bodies over here. Now we'll try to assign the material for each body. For this rightward body, we'll select and you can go here to the material and assignment. You can see structural steel by default. Now we'll assign structural to steel to this, and then this portion, that is bottom one, you can assign the material that is called as brass, and then you can see the leftward portion and you can assign the material that is aluminum, and the middle portion you can again assign material as aluminum, and then this top portion you can assign material of brass. Okay, now we have assigned a material to the geometry, and now we'll again click minus sign. You can see the plus sign for the materials, and you can see the properties of different materials. If you want to see the properties of them, you can see the thermal conductivity of that material, because we are doing thermal analysis, so density is required, isotropic thermal conductivity, and specific heat at constant pressure is required. You can check these properties for different materials. Again we'll click minus sign, we'll go to the coordinate systems, and you can see this is global coordinate system, which is again by default. Now you'll go to the connections and you can see the contacts, and you can see the contact for different regions. Okay, so in this way we can understand where my model is actually making the contact and what are those surfaces. Now you can go to the mesh, we'll say update. Now ANSYS mechanical will create a default mesh for this model, and meshing may take some time for complex geometries. Now you can see the mesh has been updated. You can click on this mesh, you can go to the statistics, and you can see the number of nodes, that is 15,632, and you can see the elements as 2,965. What do you mean by elements and what do you mean by nodes? When you go to the perpendicular to this direction, you can see each box represents each element, and all the 4 corners of this element will act as a node. Actually inside ANSYS, in between the 2 nodes there exists another node, that is for reference. You can select different elements, like you can select element face, you can select element, you can also select element node. When you select, go to the element node, and you can zoom inside any one of the element. You can see there is a node over here and here and here and here. So in this way we can see the different nodes. Okay, and we can also see the element faces. We can also see the elements. Okay, you can see this is one element, this is one element. So element is again a 3D entity, not a 2D entity. So in this way we can create a mesh. Now we can see the steady state thermal analysis system. When you select this option, automatically environment changes and you can see that thermal terms over here, that is temperature, convection, radiation, again heat and all these things. We'll see initial temperature and analysis settings. Now I'll select a steady state thermal. Now we have to solve the problem. So for that we have to define the problem. Okay, so we have to define the problem by providing some kind of boundary conditions. Those boundary conditions can be entered through these options, and then we have to again solve the solution just by right clicking on it, and then we have to seek for the results through this solution. Now we will first assign the boundary condition to this model. Now suppose this middle element is generating some kind of heat, so you can click on this steady state thermal and you can say inside, go inside heat, and you can say internal heat generation, or you can click on this steady state, right click over here, you can say insert and you can see internal heat generation option. Select this option. Now it is telling me to select a geometry. Now I will select this middle geometry. I will say apply. You can specify the internal heat generation quantity. Suppose it is generating the heat, that is 36,000 watt per meter cube. So now you have assigned this boundary condition or parameter and you can see right click over here. Now you can again assign further parameters in order to fully define the problem. Suppose we want to insert a convection boundary condition at different surfaces. We can select the convection and then we can select this face option and you can select the different faces through which convection will take place. Now for the convection, you must know that convection is associated with convection coefficient, which is given in watt per meter square per degree Celsius. Suppose this coefficient is equal to 10, then you can see the ambient temperature. Means this boundary is exposed to the environment, and what is ambient temperature over here, and this temperature is by default 22 degrees Celsius inside ANSYS. You can also change this temperature according to our requirement. Suppose it is 18 degrees Celsius, and then you can see this parameter has been fully defined. Now you can see we have assigned internal heat generation and we have assigned internal heat generation as well as convection boundary conditions. Now it means we have not assigned any boundary condition to the faces, that is this face and this face, as well as this face and this face. So ANSYS understand by itself that there will be no heat flux from these boundaries. Only those boundaries on which we have assigned the boundary condition, those will be responsible for the heat transfer. Now we'll say go to the solution and we'll say solve. Solver will take some time to solve these conditions, and whenever the solution is complete, you will see a green tick mark over the solution. Now you can see that solution is now complete and we can now do the post processing in order to get desired results from this solution. So you can also see the solution information just below the solution, and inside the solution you can see the different information. Okay, we can again select a solution and we can do post processing. When you select a solution, we can again the solution environment will appear and you can see the different options over here, that is thermal, volume and coordinate system. Again user defined option result is also there. You can also see probe options. Now we'll again also select this option just by right clicking on the solution and say insert thermal and contact tool also in probe. So you can access these options in both the ways. Suppose we select a thermal temperature distribution. Again we'll select thermal total heat flux. Again we'll say evaluate all the results, and you can see the results have been solved. Whenever ANSYS creates any problem or whenever there is any error message will appear over here. You can see the message option, and you can see this will not be a green tick mark, this will be a red tick mark whenever there is an error. Now we will see the solution. You can see that this is the solution that we have obtained, and you can see this middle body where the heat generation were taking place, and you can see that temperature distribution at different surfaces. Now you can see the different colors. Now what these colors indicates, red color will indicate a maximum parameter value of the temperature, and this dark green color, dark blue color will indicate a minimum value of that particular parameter, and you can see the other values in between this. Now how to measure these parameters effectively? You can make use of probes to measure the exact temperature at particular locations. Okay, and we can also make use of maximum and minimum options available inside this result, and we can, in this way we can analyze the results. In the graphics annotations you can see the tabular results, temperatures, locations, location X, location Y, and you can also see the location Z and some model informations, and then temperature values. Also you can see the graph option over here, and you can run the simulation, and you can see how the temperature variation goes. Now this simulation is only for the different seconds. You can select different seconds, and you can see the slow and fast simulation of this temperature plots. You can also see the another options like tabular data, in which you can see the minimum and maximum average temperatures. Now we'll analyze the heat flux results. You can see over here that heat flux results through the different surfaces. Heat flux is basically measured in watt per meter square, and this is total heat flux basically. So you can see the heat flux through different surfaces. Now here you can select these vectors in order to understand the directions of this heat flux, and you can select a uniform, and you can select a grid align. You can also increase the size of these vectors. Okay, and you will say solid form, and also you can decrease the size in order to get better visibility. Now you can see that from the center of this heat generation, the heat flows readily in all the directions, but no heat flows perpendicular to this phase because we have not applied any boundary condition. It means it will be act as a perfectly insulated phase. No heat will flow, and we have applied a convection boundary condition at top and bottom surfaces, so all the heat will be directed in those directions. You can't see any heat that flows in the perpendicular direction to this phase or this phase, or you can also see that we have not applied boundary condition over here, so no heat flows in direction perpendicular to this phase. Similarly over here, now you can simulate the results just by clicking over here. You can see this animation of this heat flow. Now you can adjust the time to 3 seconds. You can see we have assigned the different materials, so this material will affect the heat flow because different materials will possess a different thermal conductivity. So according to that, the heat will be transferred by the different materials. You can see the line form results. Okay, so you'll see the lines. If you want to see vectors that is in the solid forms, then you can select these options. You can say element align lines. Okay, so we know what is element, and all the lines will be aligned along the element. You can also see grid align, and you can also see proportional and uniform distribution lines. So you can see that most of the heat flows in this direction. So whatever the material that we have assigned to this phase, that will be have possess a higher thermal conductivity. So most of the heat, you can see it is transferring to this interface, and very less heat will be transferred by the rightward material. So in this way we can make use of these vectors in order to analyze the results. Now we can see the counters. Now you can see different counters over here. You can see smooth counters, you can see counter bands and isolines. So this can be used in order to understand the temperatures. You can say smooth counter, then you can see smooth counters. When you say a counter bands, so counter will appear as a bands. And when you say isolines, so it will be made using the lines that will separate the temperature phases. You can make use of probes also and maximum. We have seen these options. Now you can see edge. You can see viewing parameters, like you can see show elements. If you don't want to show elements, you can say show this model. You can see the model in the form of this. Again, you will say smooth counters and there will be no edges. So you can see wireframe model, and you can also see on deform model, and you can also see the elements. So in this way we can view the model in various ways. Now we'll make use of the path in order to understand these results more clearly. So you can select a model, and when you select a model, environment again changes, and you can see the construction geometry option over here. You can select a path, and for the path purpose you can assign different coordinates, that is start coordinate and end coordinate. Suppose if I choose to apply it from this edge to this edge, then we can select the vertex selection first of all, then we'll select this point and we'll say apply, and in second you can say this point and we'll say apply. You can see that we have created a path along this path, line joining the points these two. So now we can go to the solution and we'll say insert a thermal temperature distribution, we'll say geometry selection, we'll say path, and you can see we have created this path. So this is, we can detect this path now, and then we'll say evaluate all the results. You can see the temperature distribution along this path. So in this way we can also see the graphical view, and we can also see the tabular data. Now when you click on this path, you will see that this path has a 47 points, and it also includes the start and end points, so it will contain 47 points total. And inside temperature you can see that is 49 points. You can see the graphical data also, and you can create animation of same. Now we'll use the surface to identify the properties. Now suppose again we select on the model and we create a construction geometry, that is surface. Now surface will by default pass through this origin. Suppose we say we selected this surface, and we'll say, you can see that the surface has been generated. Now we can go to the solution, right click on the solution, insert total heat flux, and you can inside a scoping method you can select a geometry selection as a surface, and inside a surface you can select surface. This surface will be selected automatically, and then you will say evaluate all the results. Now you can see the total heat flux from this plane, and you can also see the direction of this total heat flux. In this way, we can make use of surface in order to analyze the results. Now we'll again insert a thermal directional heat flux. Now we'll go to the solution and we'll insert a thermal directional heat flux, and inside the geometry selection we'll select a surface, and inside a surface we'll select this surface which we have created earlier, and now we'll say evaluate all the results, and then you can see the directional heat flux from the surface. Now we'll try to understand how to use name selection to show the results according to particular name selection. So we can select these faces of the right boundary or left boundary, and you can right click over here and you can select the create name selection, and you can put a selection name as a left boundary, and then we'll click OK. And inside a name selection over here you can see the left boundary option. So the first of all we'll delete the created one, which is first one. Now you can see the left boundary option over here. Now we'll click to the solution, right click, and we'll add a thermal total flux, and the total flux will say geometry selection by the name selection, and here inside name selection we can select this left boundary which we have created over here, and then we'll say evaluate all the results, and when you evaluate you can see the heat flux through this boundary, okay, and direction of heat flux as well as magnitude of the heat flux. We can analyze the results in this way. We can again confirm from here that most of the heat flows in left direction and very less quantity of heat flows in right direction. This is because we have assigned a different material to different bodies. So in this way we can analyze the result by making use of paths, by making use of surface, and by making use of named selection and surface. So we can also make use of coordinate system to get the results, but we are only using this coordinate system to create a face surfaces, because in order to create a surface we need a coordinate system, and we have to place that coordinate system accordingly, and then we'll create a surface with respect to that coordinate system, and then we'll create a we'll apply the solution from that surface and we'll analyze that solution. So we'll see that. Now you can see inside a model that you can see the coordinate system, that is only a global coordinate system, and in this coordinate system this is your x-axis and this is your y-axis and this is your z-axis, and now we'll try to add another coordinate system. So we'll click on this coordinate system and we'll right click on it and we can select a coordinate system. Now here we have to specify our origin. So origin we can select a point, so we can select point selection on, and we'll click here and we can select this this edge. So we'll apply, we'll say apply, and you can see the now we can see the x and y coordinates. So x is this and y is this, and then you can set the define principal x-axis. So we'll select y-axis and you can see, so this is your x and this is your y, okay. So that is again not my requirement, so we can also change this x-axis as a z-axis. So again there is a no change, so we'll say x-axis as, so we can change axis orientation of z-axis or x-axis. We can say it is x. Suppose we try to change with this, again you can see this is your x and this is your y. So again it is not according to me, so we'll try to say it is a z. Now you can see that, so this is your x and this is your y, okay. Now it is okay. Now you can see that this is our coordinate system. Now we'll again go to the solution, or we can say new surface generation first of all. Now first of all we'll try to understand how to create a surface with respect to that coordinate system, and then we'll try to how to use that surface for our analysis. Now you can go to the model, and we'll select a construction geometry and as a surface, and we'll select a coordinate system over here. So coordination system can be used. So you can select coordinate system, that is this coordinate system that we have created over here, and you can see the surface 2 over here. So in this way we have created this surface 2 with the help of this coordinate system. Now we'll use this coordinate system to analyze the results. So we'll go to the solution, and again we'll say insert thermal total heat flux, and here we'll also select and again a surface, and we'll select not a surface 1, that is we'll select a surface 2, and we'll say evaluate all the results. Now here you can go normal to this direction, and you can see the analysis results, the direction of heat flow. So you can again see that from the left face most of the heat flows, and from the right face least amount of heat flows. This is because thermal conductivity. So in this way we can use ANSYS workbench to analyze the results. We can use different name selections, we can use path, we can use surfaces to analyze the results that are generated inside ANSYS. That's all in this video tutorial. In our upcoming video tutorials, we are going to see tutorials on ANSYS workbench. Thank you. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe the channel.